Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only podcast. I'm making this up on the fly. The only podcast that, where the only podcast where I will choose my work wife Scotty in a severed scenario over my actual wife. I'm your host Ryan Knightsey, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing on this fine Sunday morning?
Crazy intro.
Hey, a
Doing
little
great.
bit, a little bit of severance talk. Spoilers,
See,
I guess, massive spoilers. And now I'm
that's
realizing,
crazy. That's crazy. You just spoiled an entire show for the whole world. I mean, I don't know when the finale came out, so I don't know if that was a really bad spoiler.
it came out Friday.
Um, oh my god, you're that guy.
Didn't mean to.
Get out of here.
I'm now realizing what I've done, and I feel bad
Go
about it.
apologize for what you've done.
I feel bad about it now. I do apologize. Holy crap!
Unbelievable. That's the type of thing I would accidentally do.
Yeah.
Um,
It's the problem I have is of trying to come up with something like apropos to the moment. Maybe sometimes I try to do an intro that works with what's happening in the world present day, and that was on my mind, and I totally forgot that I'm not the only person that watches Severance. But
No, I don't think that's even remotely true.
do you watch Severance, Scotty?
I've watched one whole episode, and I watched it a few weeks ago for the first time, but I don't own Apple TV, so I did not proceed until I wasn't going to proceed and watch it all until it was over. So now it's over, so now I will actually proceed and watch it.
Well, I mean, technically, it's not over. They are getting a season 3.
Yeah, I mean, like these 2 seasons, like I wasn't going to pay for more than a month.
That's
So,
fair. That is fair.
because getting Apple TV is a chore. It is not like it. I didn't think I needed to go get Apple TV ever really, but now I do.
Mhm.
Now I do. I don't even know how we got here. Oh wait, because you're spoiling stuff. Anyways, hello everybody. I mostly took the week off from watching wrestling, not on purpose, but because I was doing other things. I said, I'll watch it tomorrow, and tomorrow became Saturday very quickly. I didn't watch Dynamite until yesterday.
That's right.
And then I realized how much more I needed to watch for today's show. So how much of it did I watch for today's show? Find out soon.
Yeah, well, we got a lot to talk about. I was in a similar boat, Scotty, but instead of taking a week off of wrestling watching, I instead was watching a crap. I am, you know, I, I'm already delayed in getting out the latest episode of Hustle Loyalty Retrospect that was supposed to come out on Wednesday last week, and I just got to 2004, and I wanted to come out this Wednesday, so I don't know what I'm going to try to do. I'm hustling. I'll tell you that much. Through a bunch of wrestling, but bunch of old 2000s
One
WWE.
could say you're not hustling or loyal.
I'm loyal. I'm loyal, of course. I got to be loyal. But
It's late.
I would say in retrospect, I could have done a better job in terms of what I was prioritizing my viewing for all this project. But I'm working my way downtown through all of this. I'm about to watch the Royal Rumble from 2004, which of course is the Royal Rumble that doesn't exist anymore. So for obvious reasons. So yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun time. But
Is the worst thing you have too many projects?
No. Is it bad that I keep coming up with more? That's probably worse.
One, absolutely. Two, the problem for you is that you have to watch a bunch of stuff for said projects. The sneak. Remember this. Remember this. The sneak to having a lot of projects is make sure you don't actually have to watch that much more.
Yeah, but you know me. I like the hustle.
Really easy.
I like the hustle.
Yeah,
I like.
But you have currently 3 shows going, and I know you want a 4th.
Oh, of course. And best of the Bosch is coming back very shortly.
At least that's like you're going to be watching that.
Yeah, because that show is really just like I watch one match and then I talk about it, and then that's it, and then that's the show, and that's the episode.
Exactly.
And then, and I gotta watch a bunch of matches, obviously, but it's just one episode of match. Here, I'm covering 2 years of professional wrestling.
Why do you do it for Best of Super Juniors, but like not the G1?
I could.
He did it for the Best of Super Juniors and the N1 victory. What a psycho behavior.
No, I've done other stuff. We've done Mascara Madness, where I watched a bunch of Mask versus
No, but the past year. Oh wait, okay? So your best of the Bosch is old stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. The M1 was current. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, N1 was
Never mind.
reviewing the current N1. The consummate listener, Scotty Edwards here. N1 was
Buddy, I have like 4 hours of sleep and it's 9:41 a.m. and you have a million projects. Sue me for not knowing every single thing off the top of my head.
That's fair. N1 was the N1, going through the actual N1 tournament of 2024. Best of the Bosch is the finals of all of the Best of Super Juniors from years past.
Yeah.
Except I think I cut off at 2020, I think.
May want to figure that out, buddy.
I think it was 2020 because I did the 2019 one, which was Osprey and Shingo last year, and covered that already. And I think I cut off at 2020 because that's roughly when I started podcasting, and also 2020. They had a Best of the Super Juniors in 2020, I believe, but also Pandemic Wrestling. I'm like, I'm good. So I'm not gonna go back and do that. So I think it's up to 2019, but I've already done 2019, so we're gonna be even.
Here's
older
the hot take: a lot of good pandemic wrestling out there.
There is a lot of good pandemic wrestling, but I am not gonna go back and watch it if I don't have to.
Some of us aren't built for it. I am.
I mean, I also watched it in real time, like, so I don't necessarily. And what we weren't doing Ring Post Radio yet, but I think the podcasts that I was doing back in the day, I think I already covered it. I believe. I don't quite remember, but this was 5 years ago. So who the heck is supposed to remember? Me. Let's talk about the show. Let's do Ring Post Radio. There's enough banter at the top. Whatever classic podcasts start. I would argue banter.
That's classic podcast start. I'm just here to have a good time.
We got a lot to talk about, a lot of reviews to talk about, all over the world. We're going to start off with the New Japan Cup final. Then we're going to, of course, go to the WWE. We're going to go to AEW. We got CMLL, the only Mexican wrestling promotion of note, having an event this weekend of note. And of course, Noah,
the only one you want to watch.
Yeah, the only one that I'm sure people would want to watch. Some people did watch it, I guess. But some people watch. I watched the La Parca 3, not return, but not announcement, but arrival. I guess
certainly not return.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I watched that the arrival of La Parca where he just comes out and then he dances to Michael Jackson Thriller and then that's it. Like, okay,
it's like the Lucha Libre sumo hall show they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
In April, like it's the return of Hayabusa. It's not actually Hayabusa. Just let you know that ahead of time.
Can you tell me for now if Hayabusa is going to come out and then dance to Michael Jackson Thriller?
I would put a lot of money on that not happening.
Okay, what about Man in the Mirror? What about Pretty Young Thing? Oh, Pretty Young Thing. He's a mask. That's pretty hard, probably.
This is crazy. You've gone. I'm gonna let that go. We're just gonna move on.
New Japan Cup final. We'll start off discussing the New Japan Cup final. Obviously, Scotty, so very close to getting a really great bracket here. You were off by, well, not necessarily one, but off in the semifinals. Shota Umino beats Shingo. So I guess my prediction of last week was kind of correct, half correct last week. Shota Umino beats Shingo in a pretty decent match, I thought. But then we get, of course, to the final night, where we have David Finlay versus Shota Umino, where in the match, David Finlay picks up the win, becomes the winner of the New Japan Cup, defeats Shota Umino in 27 minutes and 58 seconds. Scotty, first, we have a lot of things to talk about here, a lot of things to unpack here. But first, what are your thoughts on the match? And then, of course, we'll discuss, sort of the Shota fallout and where we're going with David Finlay and Goto. But what do you think about the match itself between Finlay and Shota? And I guess some flavors of Shota and Shingo, if you have any thoughts on that.
I have literally zero on Shingo and Shota, so do not worry about that.
That's fair.
My thoughts are very simple. David Finlay is incredible. So incredible that he got a great match out of Shota Umino, who is not incredible. This match to me was like the ultimate David Finlay's better than like most of your favorite wrestlers at this point. He was on his game, whether it was selling, whether it was just his overall offense, his believability, everything about David Finlay is hitting. While, you know, the guy he's facing is still obviously figuring it out. I think Shota's last problem in terms of this, like, just his overall, like, because he's never going to be a main eventer in my eyes, but his main problem is he sucks at selling. Like, awful. Like, he got drilled one time. He just started fixing his, like, fucking elbow pad. And I was like, dude, can you just, like, not do that for 2 seconds? But God willing, David Finlay put on a great New Japan Cup final because he's that guy. And I think that's great. I think that's great. That's important. And that's what you need to see from someone like him who is now set up to face Hiroki Goto in, I think, what's probably my most highly anticipated IWGP World Title match in quite some time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think David Finlay is the absolute right pick. Any other time, I'd be clamoring for him to win the world title. Not this time because you just can't take it off Goto. But I'm excited for where we're going.
Yeah, in regards to the match, I pretty much agree. I mean, Shota Umino is a guy that we've talked at length on this podcast, and it is fascinating because it's a thing that like I fought against like constantly on the show is like the people being like, oh yeah, he's a great wrestler, and then they like reference the Will Ospreay match and like, yeah, he's a great wrestler because he wrestled a great wrestler in Will Ospreay. And I did think this match was really good, like really really good, great even. And it's the same feeling I had after the Will Ospreay thing is like, I think maybe this match is a little bit less than that, but anyways, it's the same feeling I have after that Will Ospreay match where it's like, yeah, but it wasn't. This match isn't great because of Shota Umino. It's because of David Finlay. David Finlay ruled here. He was all over the place. His power style rules. I don't want to go as far and say a carry job because I don't necessarily think that's fully accurate. I think Shota did
Nah, say it.
say it with my chest.
Yeah.
I might, yeah. It to some degree, it is a carry job.
You want to say it? Say it.
In some ways, I do want to say it. In some ways, I'm also like, Shota does hold his own a little bit. He's not like a horrendous guy, right? He's not a horrendous. I've seen worse wrestlers.
The new
But
style is going to do a lot of good for him. I'll give him that.
exactly. But it is just the thing of like David Finlay is just working on all these levels, and Shota Umino is obviously not. Now, obviously, New Japan is merging that outside storyline into this storyline of like he is seen as like a failure. He is seen as a guy that couldn't do it at the Tokyo Dome, and so we're sort of setting up this thing with Shota Umino that he is just sort of a failure. But we talked about it last week as well, is that this new energy about him as well. It's not anything different for his character in terms of in-ring style. He's still wrestling as the same guy. You can be like, shaving your head in sort of that Japanese tradition of showing humility and all these other sort of things. But at the end of the day, it's like, he's still the same exact guy. And last week I pitched like, let's go even further, have him join House of Torture and do all these things. I still think they might be leading to that. We can talk about that more in a second, but like, where he's just the same guy and it's frustrating. Whereas David Finlay's firing all cylinders. He's heading into another probably great match of Goto after having a really good match here, a really good showing here. And one other thing I want to say, I saw this mention. I want to say Super Jcast tweeted this out. Mention about how someone responded to them and they talked about how it does seem that like the house style of New Japan to a certain degree is changing a little bit. It doesn't feel like, and obviously the New Japan Cup has a little bit of has a time limit. I believe, does the final have a time limit? I don't remember. Anyways,
there's no time limit for the New Japan Cup.
Yeah, that's why I had that second thought, but it it doesn't feel like we're in a period where we're getting those 45-minute plus matches anymore. Those Jay Whites, Kenny Omega, Okada.
Absolutely hilarious to say that months after the Wrestle Kingdom main event.
Yes. But well, I also don't think that that is part of this new style. This style that we're getting that's like that's bubbling up to the top of the card, Scotty, is this powerhouse style with David Finlay, I think Goto, I think Suji, Gabe Kidd. Like the brawler powerhouse style is more of what's happening in New Japan right now. And that's working. And it's obviously working with Goto, with the rise of David Finlay, with Yota Tsuji, even obviously with Gabe Kidd, like everyone I just mentioned. Um, is this style that is bubbling up to the surface to the top of the card. And if attendance is to be believed, it's a style that I think is working. Whereas a guy like Shota, the thing that's, that he's changing is nothing really about his style. He's just maybe throwing those lariats a little bit harder, but I'm not throwing him into that powerhouse heavyweight style, thrash and bash sort of style sort of thing. But anyways, I thought the match was really well done. I'm glad David Finlay got the win. I much prefer that over the scenario I laid out last week with Shota Umino potentially getting that win. And now we have David Finlay versus Shota Umino at Sakura Genesis. Obviously, we'll
Yeah,
preview that as
versus
it gets
Goto,
closer.
not Shota Umino.
Yeah, sorry, thank you. Versus Goto at Sakura Genesis. Obviously, we'll preview that as we get closer to it next week. But thoughts on that, Scotty? I mean, we got Goto, we got that thing that you talked about, the Goto David Finlay, the Tokyo Sports Award Match of the Year last year. We get a repeat of that now for the title. We'll talk about it obviously a little bit more when we preview it, but I mean, gun to your head right now, who are you feeling about that match? Who are you feeling about going into the possible winner of that match? Because in a lot of ways, it makes sense to go with David Finlay as a guy to beat Goto. And maybe I think at one point in time that was the correct scenario. But now you have an attendance draw on Goto as champion. Is it the thing that makes sense, financial sense? It almost feels like the best of both worlds, no matter what.
There's not a world Hiroki Goto should be losing. Just you can't do it. Like New Japan has been looking for the key to attendance and the key to success and the key to just getting back on track for the past couple of years, right? Especially post Okada and with Tanahashi retiring now. They found it with Hiroki Goto. And as much as I love David Finlay and as much as I think David Finlay can be a great world champion, that you just can't take the belt off of Goto until at least Dominion. At least Dominion. It's a tough spot for Finlay to be in, but the story is very simple. Last year Goto got to the final because David Finlay could not because he was sick or whatever. And 1 year later, here we are. I think something incredible with this matchup is that it's a unique one where I don't think that many people will be upset with who actually wins, but it would legitimately feel like you messed up if David Finlay won. Not because I don't think he'd be successful, but because Hiroki Goto is on a trajectory that I don't think they're going to be able to match with anyone. So I feel like they're going to need to use Goto to put over the next generation eventually. And while I do think David Finlay does represent part of that, um, it's just not the time. It's just not the time. I think David Finlay, will have a great run in the G1 and everything. I'm sure the House of Torture and War Dogs rivalry will continue after this, probably into Dominion.
I'm sure that'll work itself out.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna probably involve David Finlay post the title match. Um, but as much as I love it, it's gotta be Goto. Like you just can't. There's not a world where good business takes up the belt off of Goto right now.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And, I was looking up to see what their record between each other was, and I did not know this. Maybe we talked about it in the past, but I forgot it. The first time they ever wrestled in a singles match was last year in the G1 Climax.
That's crazy.
And then the second time was last year for the global heavyweight title. They're 1-1 record wise, and they only wrestled for the first time in a singles match last year. So
The global match, great.
Oh yeah, great match. Both of them really great matches. Yeah, so I think it's I mean, at the end of the day, for me, it is like the best thing for New Japan. Best scenario for New Japan is that like I think there is one that makes big logical sense with David Finlay winning, right? I mean, him beating Goda makes sense. I think the rise of David Finlay right now would work as well. Um, you know, I think that he's been a proven international star as well for the company, so I think that would work as well. But Hiroki Goto is obviously a financial success on the home turf, so it is that sort of thing of, yeah, I don't know, maybe we might ruin a good thing that we have going by going to David Finlay finance wise.
And by the way, nothing matters more than home turf.
Exactly.
Right now.
Exactly.
I
And it shouldn't.
don't care about Windy City Riot. I don't care about Forbidden Door. I don't care about any of those. Like, obviously David Finlay would make a lot of sense for some of those, but
look at that.
Goto, man.
Windy City Riot, you got Takeshita and Tanahashi. Like, it feels like that would be enough of a draw for the US audience.
Right. I mean, there will be a world title match, but yeah, that is the draw for that show, because that is the last Tana US match.
So yeah,
that's the game they got to play.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. We'll talk about it more next week with Hiroki Goto and David Finlay. But what's fascinating to see what's going to happen there. Shota Umino, he loses. He goes back down the card here. He is now the loser of the New Japan Cup and the loser of the Wrestle Kingdom main event, Scotty. How much longer do you think this loser story of Shota Umino is going to continue? Because I have a feeling that I watched the finals. I watched this match. I saw Shota Umino lose, and I had a feeling of Shota Umino in the finals of the G1 Climax as well this year. A guy that throughout all these things gets these opportunities and then loses in the big spot. Part of me thinks we might be heading to a G1 Climax final of Shota Umino. Does he win it there? I guess that's an interesting story of him winning and then going to the Kingdom, going to Wrestle Kingdom main event again and winning maybe, but I don't want to see that.
Is not Shota Umino. My pick right now is like very confidently Yuya Uemura, crowning the new Tanahashi at the show that Tanahashi retires. Very much feels like what New Japan is kind of projecting in the long run, just based on the stuff with Hantai and just how many guys. I don't know. What are they, 4?
Well, hold on. Hantai and Chaos collapsed into each other.
Yes, but now just 4 guys is also collapsing.
Which
and Tanahashi and Uemura are, they're having the moments and they're, kind of setting him up to now be the next Tanahashi. But anyways, with Shota Umino, I think he's going to be leading his own faction.
Yes, I agree. With all of those people, those groups combining into each other, it's like, all right, that's prime. We're going to separate.
And I'll give credit to some of my friends for this idea. What if Sonata joined Shota Umino instead of the House of Torture?
That sounds like the most boring group in the history.
Well, you're right, absolutely, but this is the group we have to go with because this is the heel group.
Okay.
And then they are also paired up with Youngblood, the tag team in the UK. That feels like a potential direction that would maybe make sense for a heel group that isn't like House of Torture, more like the War Dogs, who are very much not heels anymore, but kind of filling in on the Japan side. That kind of feels like a potential if they want Shota Umino to be a leader, which again, I can't stress how much I would disagree with it. But if that's what they want to do, feels like that's the direction, because there's gonna be a new faction. They just got rid of 2 in seconds. They're gonna have a new one. And United Empire doesn't exist or shouldn't. at this point. So they're gonna have new factions very soon, and it feels like Shota Umino is gonna be a leader, more likely than not.
Well, then that could also go back into what I'm saying about the G1 Climax final of like a guy. They might give him this new faction even at as early as Sakura Genesis, right? We'll see how long it goes.
Right.
But like they could do that, and then that can help lead Shota Umino into the finals of the G1. And then whether or not he wins there, I think, is one thing. I tend to agree. I do like the idea of Yu Yamura. I do like there's a bunch of to be fair, there's a bunch of people I'd rather prefer in the G1 finals over Shota Umino. But this year feels like the Shota Umino story show. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different stories happening, but like there is an element to me where like pushing Yu Mora to win the G1 Climax into the finals and then crowning him almost feels still too early. Like it feels like that's
gotta give him the year.
Yeah,
you gotta give him the year and know where we're at.
But that almost still feels too early of a jump for me, and I don't know exactly why, but it just still feels like a too early of a jump for Yu Uemura. And I think that's just mainly because he's just been gone for the past year, basically.
If he was healthy, if he didn't get hurt in the G1, I think it'd be like very likely, and believable.
Yeah, that's how I sort of feel. I tend to agree. I say let's just give them instead of Youngblood, because I think they're interesting. I say we just make this a group, a faction of a completely uninteresting people. So let's do Shota, let's do Sonata, let's do Fale and Chase Owens. That could be the tag team instead of Youngblood. Who else? Who else?
That sounds awful. Please do not do this.
Because
you're gonna have to watch this faction.
They're gonna need a junior.
This faction.
They're gonna need a junior, so let's do like TJP. Let's throw them in here. What else? Who else? Who else is in here? I think we're faction heading for Shota Umino. I fear that he is going to be in more big spots. He might be in the G1 Climax finals. He might even have another world title shot by the end of the year. He probably will. I don't love what we're doing because I don't care about it. But maybe, just maybe, Scotty, a new faction is the sort of thing that would, pique my interest even more, right? I think, if I'm talking about, like I said last week, if we need to give him more something for his gimmick, maybe a new faction is something that would work more for Shota Umino.
I mean, if your interest is in the toilet, can only go higher, so
I guess that's true. I guess that's technically true.
I mean, I'm trying to make the good points. Here's the thing. With Shota Umino, I'm really done talking about him. I feel like I've had to talk about him forever now. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Have him good. Here's what I think's gonna happen, and you probably won't like this. I think it's going to be either Yuya Uemura or Takeshita facing Goto at Wrestle Kingdom. And then I think it's absolutely 100% Tsuji and Shota Umino. That actually feels more likely to me than
Shota Umino beating Tsuji, Goto. I guess, probably.
That feels more likely to me than Goto getting to Wrestle Kingdom as champion.
I think if they give Shota Umino a new faction and it is a success, I actually think what would be more likely would be that it hinges on the faction success, I think. Or I guess maybe it doesn't matter. I don't think anything matters with Shota Umino. Shota Umino versus Goto, and then Yuya Uemura versus Tsuji. I think that also makes sense.
I don't think they're pissing people off in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom.
Well, you get Goto, so that's something.
We're in a world, I think, of New Japan where they are here to please people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Shota Umino main eventing for a second year in a row is literally the complete opposite.
I think
so you're gonna have to accept Yota Tsuji getting his ass whooped by Shota Umino in a big title match, and you will like it.
I think Shota Umino should come out and, of course, in Japanese, say something to the effect that he's just a human being. He's not a baby face. He's not a heel.
Yeah,
He's
but
just
it's
a
not
human being.
believable with him.
It wasn't believable with the guy that said it. Let's
I
talk about
believe
it.
what he said.
Let's talk about it. So, moving on from New Japan Cup, let's talk about WWE. Let's talk about the John Cena promo because that's the big thing coming out of WWE this week. This is the thing that everyone was sort of hyped about and talking about, and we got it. And more or less, if I had to summarize the whole thing, it's more of a you people type promo than anything else. Obviously, that quote, "I am not a babyface. I am not a heel. I am a human being." John Cena cut this in Belgium on Raw. Same music, same attire, obviously, because they made a bunch of these for the various cities he's in. So they want to keep selling them. But we have various lines such as, "For 25 years, I've been the victim, okay? I've been the victim of an abusive relationship. All you do is be hurtful. All you are is abusive. And all you've ever done is bully me into being your damn puppet. Expected me to do with a smile on my face. No more." Um, he also said, "I tried one last time to get along with you guys. I tried one last time to do something nice for you, and you ruined it, just like you ruined everything." Um, so yeah, that's pretty much. He wants to break up with each and every one of his fans. And you steal my time, you steal from me, you steal my personal moments. A lot of
Shout
that.
out to
Then,
the
of course, we
poor
got a
kid.
Cody Rhodes moment, but Cody Rhodes, reacting to all of this. But what is your reaction, Scotty, to the John Cena promo from Monday Night Raw this past week?
I thought maybe this is the hot take, but I thought it was actually a good first step
I disagree,
because
but I love to hear
because
this.
his entire thing is I'm not giving the people what they want, down to the promo itself.
Mm-hmm.
That is now his gimmick. I am no longer giving the people what they want. I am against the people in every which way. You want me to change my clothes? No, fuck off. You want me to change my music? No, fuck off. You want me to do all these things because you always want me to do these things. So now he's not. He's not the cool heel. He's not cool. He's still lame. That is John Cena. He's
Uh-huh.
still lame. And he's being a little whiny bitch. I think some parts of it, legit, like the human being thing, there was a lot of truth to it, and then there was a lot of just the usual "it's you, not me"
Yeah.
aspect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I do think that hitting on The Rock and hitting on that is very important
Mm-hmm.
now moving forward. Um, but I did enjoy the promo. I did enjoy the majority of what it was going for. Um, though I will say the funny thing for me was acting like people don't like him now. I was like, no, people finally like you. That is that is the joke of it all. But again, I'm going to hold off fully because I do think you need to add the other aspect. But for me, the whole entire promo and what he was saying was to be against everything people want. And that was what was most intriguing to me. And in the end, which I think is the most important thing out of everything, that I don't think a lot of people are looking into, Cody felt like the biggest baby face possible.
Yes.
They did not want anything to do with John Cena. They
Mhm.
love that guy. And that was the number one worry, remember? They're
Yep.
like, oh, is John Cena cool now? Is everyone going to like him? And John Cena's like, actually, no, I'm a loser. I'm a loser that does everything you don't want me to do still in the reverse way. And Cody comes out, big reception, big baby face feeling. And honestly, this is really weird. It's going to be really weird because
Mhm.
I want John Cena as a heel to be like this awesome, superb character. But in the end, the goal is to keep Cody the baby face. And it
Yeah.
feels like John
Yeah.
Cena does not give a shit what he does. As long as that works, he's gonna do it. Because we saw the final boss be cool, and that was worrisome, right? Last year,
Mhm.
everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know," and Cody was just so over, so it worked out in the end. Even though there were sometimes The Rock would get chanted, I don't think John Cena's gonna get chanted in this character. He made a little kid sad, like. And I think that is why I enjoyed it. I do think like the overall promo could have been better for
Mhm.
sure. And I again still need a lot more, but in the end, I felt like they got the job done that they needed, which was Cody being the one that stands tall in every which way. Because I went back and watched the turn. Obviously,
Mhm.
they had to be scared. Like they had to be worried of what happens to Cody. And I feel like John Cena set out to be like, oh, don't worry. I got this. I'm going to piss off everyone, whether you actually like this or not. Because I think John Cena knows what he's doing,
Mhm.
even if people don't like it. That's, again, the point. We're
Yeah.
not supposed to like it.
Yeah.
For once, a heel we can't like in any which way.
That's a great point, Scotty. All of that's a great point. I think for me, it is this sort of it's still the meta commentary of it all.
Oh, I hate the meta commentary. I agree
The
with that. I
the
never like meta commentary.
no,
That's the MJF thing.
it's it's not just the meta commentary of I'm not a babyface, I'm a heel, I'm a human, or I'm not a heel, I'm a human being. That I think that was such a corny ass line, but to that degree, you're saying that plays into his new character, which then works, right? Your argument is basically that like his new character is he's a corny ass loser, which
Yes,
hey,
which is what they always thought John Cena was during
the
his peak.
the thing that the I guess the more meta point that I am upset about is this idea of like
The
I don't want to
invisible joke. Oh,
no
yeah.
it's the I don't want to I don't want to give you guys what you want, which is very strange to me when he's finally giving people what they want and seeing a heel John Cena after all these
Yeah.
decades. That like there is that meta thing of no, people want to see this. People are fascinated to see what this turns out to be.
Yeah.
Um, so in that sense, I think his promo itself didn't quite work for me because I didn't think I tweeted this out or I skeeted this out. I put it on my skyline that I thought that this sort of segment was like two great actors with a really poor script. Like I thought that the promo, the words themselves weren't that great, and the concept behind it were not that great. But the people working through it, obviously in Cena and obviously later with Cody, were able to elevate it to something better. But I do agree. I think you made a good solid point in terms of the overall scope. The concern that we've had this entire time, ever since that turn at the Rumble, at the Rumble,
Yeah.
no, Elimination Chamber,
Yeah.
I don't remember, was that, this is giving people what they want at the end of the day to a certain degree. Is a heel John Cena with a guy in the final boss in The Rock who is a heel but is still very much cheered, and plus also does weird promos where he flips
Very
back and
weird.
forth between
Yeah.
heel and babyface. And then you have the massive babyface and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Can they maintain all of that heat and maintain all of those cheers in the proper direction that they need to be going in? And to a certain degree, John Cena having like just for the argument's sake, a dud of a promo works in the new heel character of John Cena because he is actively trying not to get us to like what he's doing or cheer him in any capacity. So he needs to do the chalk you people promo because it will upset all the hardcore fans as well. He needs to upset the child in the front row wearing the John Cena gear and all these sort of things. He has to wear the same attire because they're still got to sell warehouses full of various merch and stuff for the John Cena tour. That still has to also be sold, right? But in the grand scheme, it will be the grand scheme of things. We need to not like what he's doing, and we need to agree with Cody that whatever this is sucks, and I don't want to see this anymore.
And I think that's like the most interesting part is that, again, I liked the promo for what it was going for. Well, I think again, some of it could have been altered and so on. Yeah, and I never liked the meta stuff. In the end, this is a promo that once upon a time was very valid for John Cena.
Sure.
Very valid, right? Like, you people, man, you guys booed me.
5 years ago. 5 years ago, this would have
everything for you. And then for the next decade, I again did everything for you.
Yeah.
And I liked that aspect. If again, you have to ignore like the past 5 years because
Yeah.
and honestly, I think it's pretty easy to because he wasn't around. Um, just
Yeah.
for the this is
Yeah.
wrestling. You can cloud your mind. That's what we do. That's
It
literally what we always do for
In
wrestling.
Hustle Loyalty retrospect, I know for a fact that from 2019 to 2024, instead of doing every 2 years, I'm just grouping all of that together.
Exactly. Exactly.
It is like he's around here and there, but it's
Mhm.
pretty much all lumped in. Because that's also the point when
Right.
like AEW starts and a lot of that hardcore fan base goes to AEW. And that's also when like the John Cena booing, for the
Yeah.
most part, stops because the
Mhm.
hardcore fans are no longer really watching WWE, so they're not gonna boo Cena. Which is also
Yes.
like the point. Like, yeah, that would have been the time to really convert into this
And,
promo.
and I think something also very important to it is pretty much what Cody said. Cody was like, even though you turned on me, I wanted to see what you had to say. Like I wanted to see, oh, well, desperation, needing to get 17, and he just went away from that. And Cody's response was, don't bring that to Mania. That's weak.
Yeah.
That's shit. And I think that is again
They're
why I'm
acknowledging
so intrigued.
that
They
Cody
are.
segment is acknowledging what Cena just said
It
as bad. You know
it
what I mean?
feels very familiar to the Rock stuff last year,
Mhm.
where it slowly was like, oh no, and then it just takes that next leap of like, okay, this is great. We have to see. We have to see what is as long as Cena talks about the Rock stuff and 17
Yeah.
this week, next week, I'm fully in because he is established he sucks. No one likes him.
Mhm.
I am not giving you new music. I'm not giving you new gear. I'm giving you nothing because that's what you want. And again, it is the meta. It is the limit that I think a lot of heels have to go now to be hated in the present day world.
Sure.
And for John Cena, the guy who is again, like you said, turning heel, something everyone has ever wanted,
Yep.
you have to be like this. Like I've seen people
He has
react
to
to
be
this
actively bad in a certain degree to be hated.
bad. Yes, and him being actively bad makes you hate him.
Mhm.
Right. That's I've seen people that don't follow wrestling week to week love this because he's so unlikable by
Yeah.
default. And I think that's what they're going for. We have to remember we are a little bit more into this than most people. So the reactions that you're getting for John Cena need to go beyond the basic, or not beyond the basic, beyond the hardcore,
Mhm.
even WWE fan. It
Yeah.
has to go far wider because one, it's John Cena,
Yep.
and everyone's paying attention to John Cena being a heel, and two, he's got to almost make it easy for people to understand
Mhm.
because now it feels like the first one was okay, this is for everyone. The next one now has to be for the people that are locked in, paying attention. Why the hell did you do this?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm waiting for. And
Because
that's
the
going to be the talk every week we do this is where is Cena now? Where is he taking this, right? Um
Because the first
because
promo is gonna have all the eyes of the world on him. The second one is
exactly.
gonna have a little bit, diminishing
Exactly.
returns to a certain degree,
Right.
probably.
It first one's under a microscope, the next one's going to be okay, now I can focus on 17, Rock,
Do
all
you
this.
Should he talk about 17? Isn't that Do you think that's something that fans would wanna see him break the Ric Flair record?
I think when it comes to 17, he's
Like,
gonna
I'm
have
ju
to like he's gonna have to be very odd with it, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like he can't be like, "Oh, I turned because I was a loser," and he can't say that anymore, right? Because essentially he's been a loser.
Mhm.
That's where people wanted him to originally go, right? It's like he had to give into the Rock because he couldn't get there, but clearly his character is no, 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 no. I gave you guys whatever you wanted for the last 10 years. I didn't win titles. I didn't do shit.
Yeah.
So it's like now he has to earn it. And I don't know how, but you have to acknowledge 17. It right because Cody is.
Yeah.
Cody's whole acknowledgement is, I'm not letting you get 17. I'm actually going to retire you early. Like
Yeah.
that is, and that's where we have to see how they get there. It's overly complicated because it's John Cena being a heel in the
Yes.
year 2025, a year where he would be cheered no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And he is now getting booed out of the building. So I'm fascinated to see where it goes. It's why I did like the first pro. Again, not everything was perfect. I think it could have went better for sure, but it hit for me because in the end, Cody was over, and that is the purpose of the heel when his name is John Cena.
And I will say also, you helped convince me as well that the promo worked. So good on you, Scotty. But the idea of like then Cody immediately coming out and calling the whole promo segment that Cena did
Yes,
shitty is
yeah,
them is WWE, or at least the two of them
yeah.
acknowledging this. This is the idea. The
Oh
idea
yeah,
is that he
yeah,
is actively being bad in terms
yeah.
of quality.
Like you
Um,
suck, dude. You're supposed to be like this badass on the mic, and
Full
what's
of charisma and
right. What's the thing he says? Oh, nice speech. Like you're supposed to be that guy.
yeah.
And instead you're like, what do we want? What do we want? And I just remember that I was like, he's being everything you hate about John Cena, like during his peak, like
Mhm.
kind of very corny and kind of annoying.
Yeah.
That is what he's doing. And it's very funny for me to see all these years later as
Do
someone who lived through the entire Cena run.
um
He also
here's a
talked a lot, by the
no.
way.
Here's a
He talked
question.
for so long. I was like, okay, could have cut, could have sliced a little bit out, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Here's a question for you. And I don't know how I feel about it, but is this a feud that you could include just like a cameo by Ric Flair in?
Fuck no.
I know.
Get
I don't want it either.
keep him away.
But
Keep him
this, like,
away.
you're talking about the idea of 17 and how do you acknowledge it, but also maintain this idea of you don't want to have it. Um, and Ric Flair would definitely be still cheered, but well, Hulk Hogan, I guess, throws in a wrench, but I imagine Ric Flair would
Rick would
still
be
be
cheap.
cheered by the audience. Um, and it just feels like that could be a way
You
to
want John Cena to beat Ric Flair's ass?
well, hold on. Well, hold on. The problem there is
Because it would work.
the problem there, Scotty, is I would cheer it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would personally cheer him, so, like, it doesn't work. It would be like, what would the WWE fans do?
yeah, yeah. It also would be like Ric Flair to Cena, or Ric Flair to Cody as The Rock is to Cena. Like that'd be his sort of like
Yeah, and
manager.
you don't want Cody connected to Ric Flair.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. I think they would have to heavily do like this is old school WCW. Like this is
Right.
that's the
It
Dusty.
it
It's a
would
Rhodes and Flair versus the
yeah,
biggest stars in wrestling in WWE history. Which
yeah.
it's something if you angle it like that, that's fun. That's a fun little
2
promotion
former
thing.
AEW employees against
Then Stone Cold comes out. He doesn't know what to do. He grabs a cold one. He grabs one of Ric Flair's energy drinks, just smashes them together. Drinks all that mushroom.
Oh god.
Uh, yeah,
Oh
it's
god.
interesting. Now, there is the artist aspect of all these things of like, is it good to actively make something bad? You know what I mean? Like that idea
Yeah.
is that what I want? No, and I think that maybe that's what my initial reaction is to it is like as a general like person that is consumes art and media and all these sort
Yeah.
of things, I don't actively want to see something that is made to be actively bad.
Right.
But they are acknowledging it, so that's
Yeah.
good. So there's an element of
John
trust.
Cena is being made to be actively bad, to be booed, and to suck. Everything about him that he said was like, "Dude, you suck. You're doing the expected you people promo," and I think that again is the point.
Yeah, I agree.
Because everyone hates there's not I don't think there's a person that understands it more than John Cena. Like this guy understands what he's doing. Like let's not act like he doesn't. He's been doing this for 25 years and at the top level. He understands what people do and don't like, and that's what he's doing.
Hmm.
So that's why he did the You People promo because everyone hates that promo.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that's the fascinating thing to see going forward.
Yeah.
And I will say, watching him get booed and like hate everything while wearing all the same
Gear.
garbage
Yeah.
is actually perfect. I said that when we talked about it. I was like, I wouldn't be shocked if he just wore the same stuff because that's against the people.
Hmm.
And would you look at that? He is doing it in full force. I do my favorite line though,
Hmm.
besides the "my time is now" thing, just turning the song into his thing. I was like, that's very funny. As if your time wasn't the 16 times. He's he's like, you guys dress like me. I don't dress like you people. As if like his fashion statement is being made.
Yeah.
I was like, uh-huh.
I
Yep, that's
speaking
true.
with Hustle Loyalty Retrospect, again, patreon.com/CannotPod. I in 2003, he has cemented the jorts. Like this is when he
Yes.
cements the jorts, and I'm just like sitting here watching all this stuff. Like he's doing. This is 2003 is when he's doing "You Can't See Me." I don't think he's called it "You Can't See Me" yet, but he's doing the thing. He's
Yeah.
got the jorts. Like everything about like John Cena is like starting to like uh be is cemented in stone, and it's just like, man, he's worn the same exact thing and done the same exact thing since 2003, 22 years ago. It's just like, god damn, this guy has been the same for so long. It's very interesting.
It's like how last week they released all like the Chain Gang stuff, and everyone was like, "Hold on, is the Chain Gang coming back?" I was like, "Yeah, you like that, wouldn't you?" That's what that's
Yeah,
what it felt
and
like
that's
when it was
probably played
over.
into it. Probably
Yeah,
played into it. Well,
like
speaking of something
it's crazy.
yeah, speaking of something that's actively bad, let's talk about the Death Riders for a moment.
Oh,
Um, is that a transition? That
that
is a
was a good
transition.
one. That was
Uh,
a good one because one of them entertained me. The other one, well, the other one grossed me out.
Yeah. The only reason we're bringing this up is I don't think we typically would have talked about this Dynamite from Omaha, Nebraska. We're not going to talk about the whole show here, unless you like to.
It
But
was a good show.
we
Outside of, hmm.
we'll talk about it. We had a little bit of a rant last week about the Mox versus Cope rivalry in this match here in Omaha, and the match happened. And I feel like it'd be important for us to discuss and do a quick little follow up of that.
I got some nice words about the rant. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we got some compliments on the rant, so that's very good. Uh,
Someone loved your line of I gotta find it because
I very much appreciate it. It's my
it
line that
got me so good, dude. 1 second. Let's when you said you were sick of Darby's Everest gimmick.
Sometimes when you just call everything a gimmick and you can't think of a word and you just throw it in there, it's like, all right, buddy. Sometimes it always works. Yeah. So I want to do a quick little follow up since the match has actually happened, and see how we feel about it moving forward, because they've obviously gone maybe in a different direction for all these things. Maybe not different. You know what I'm trying to say. AEW World Title Street Fight. John Moxley defeats Cope. 22 minutes 21 seconds. This match, I think, is fair to say, Scotty, is getting better reviews than the Revolution main event. I don't know what your thoughts or feelings on the match was, but for
I
me,
mean,
this was better, right? I mean, this was technically better. I think still not great, right? I think I went like 3 flat, maybe 3 and a quarter. I don't remember. But it was still, so it was better, but still not a great thing. I think the spike moment, uh the baseball bat wooden plank full of metal spikes to the back of John Moxley, stuck there, and as they try to pull it out, just ripping his skin away. I think that's doing most of the heavy lifting in this match. But now that we've seen the match, now we've seen the second one, the sequel, the squeakquel even. What do you think about the street fight in Omaha? And where do we think should be next? Now that we're out of Cope, where should the next thing for the Death Riders be?
they fucking wish this was as good as Alvin and Chipmunks the Squeakquel. Um, I I am saying this with every bit of me. I hated hated everything about that spot. I was so grossed out,
Yeah.
which is the point. So it's fine. Hated it though. Like the tearing away, I wanted to vomit.
Uh huh.
Um, it was so gross. But otherwise they just had a WWE no holds barred
Yeah.
bullshit.
It was completely like a WWE DQ match, no
It
DQ
was
match up until
damn
that
near
moment.
bloodline rules.
Yeah.
I We should talk about how John Moxley must have watched Roman Reigns, and he must have been like, I want to try that, and he somehow like making the Roman Reigns thing look like an impossible thing to follow up, which is insane.
Mhm.
You ever see Bloodline Rules? It was ridiculous half the time, except for the big one, obviously.
Except for the first time where it worked.
Right, like this match wasn't good, but it was better.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is my takeaway.
Yeah.
I was still kind of bored for the opening part because Edge brawls are boring.
Which is weird
Then
because in the preview I talked about how I think I talked about it, whereas you had that Christian Cage one where it was like that was really
yeah,
fun. He
it
has
feels like
I think the goodwill is gone also. I think that's the
I
fair
think the
point.
problem for him is that him and John Moxley is like him and Randy Orton. No one really wants to see it.
I thought you were going to say that it was the greatest match ever.
No, this is more of like the WrestleMania one where Dave wanted to do like water torture or something. Much closer to that one than the rehearsed multiple changes to the greatest match ever.
I know a lot of
Which,
people don't like Dave, but can we all agree he's one of the best tweeters out there alive? I mean, come
oh
on.
yeah, one
Come
of
on.
one. Anyways, yeah, like the match itself, I was just like, this is when they were doing all the run-ins, I was like, this doesn't hit like The Rock and John Cena. Because again, I'm looking at it as the bloodline rules of the Death Riders. I'm like,
Yeah.
the pops aren't there. No one's really as into it except for Willow. I'm just happy it's over.
Mhm.
That's my big takeaway. Because I hated every part of this feud from day one to day 1000. Because it
Yeah.
felt like it was that long. The match itself goes down with a whimper, much like Cope's main event choices. I wish his booking style would as well.
How you're now teasing in maybe a potential FTR breakup with Dax Harwood.
Yeah, no. The thing for me is that I don't like watching Cope wrestle.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
worst version of Edge is in fact Cope. To the name, everything about it.
And I think
He was
I think the best version of Edge is Adam Copeland, ironically enough.
um depends which Edge. Heel Edge back in the day, in the prime days of my childhood,
Mhm.
was second to none.
Mhm.
When he was kissing Vicky Guerrero and screwing over the Undertaker, yeah, that's the same guy that
2009,
we're watching now.
2010
That's the same guy we're watching now, by the
with
way.
Chavo Guerrero and
And Bam Naily, baby.
Bam. I was gonna say Bam.
Boom! That's the real Edge. This one,
The Edge heads.
when he got choked out again, I just laughed.
Yeah.
Still couldn't get pinned, by the way. Just want that.
Didn't tap.
Didn't tap. And I was like, what? Who is this helping? This didn't help Moxley. This didn't help you. This is not helping a single person. And I'm done. I'm happy it's over. Where do they go? It's very simple. And his name is Swerve. That is where they go. We're not waiting anymore because you have directions. You have two ways to get things right at All In. It's either you go with Hangman or you go with Ospreay against Swerve Strickland. And you know what? You're going to be happy either way. John Moxley, you can fight Eddie Kingston there or just not be there as far as I'm concerned, and I'll be fine. Cope, buddy,
Hit the bricks.
Hit the bricks. When Cope came back, I said, you know what's good for him? Trios with the FTR. That's fine. He does little things here and there. Well, that's still probably fine. I have negative interest.
It sucks that AEW has two Adam Coles in their roster. One that
Adam
is
Cope.
there's Adam Cope and Adam Cole. Two guys that in singles competition I don't want to see wrestle, but in trios or maybe even tags, it's like, all right, I can deal with this. It sucks that they have two of the same guy, just generations apart. Yeah, it's moving forward, yeah, you just got to go to Swerve. I mean, you just got to go to Swerve. I mean, I guess if Swerve lost, he could just go into the
If Swerve
Owen.
loses, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, I might be done. Like because then the opportunity becomes, oh, what if they're just gonna still go with Darby? That's the worst option.
Well, the bigger problem for me is that like if Swerve loses, then whoever wins the Owen is going to win the title, is going to beat Moxley, and that's
Are
what we.
we sure?
Fair question, but that's a fair question. But also, it's like that's what they did last year with the Bryan Danielson thing.
Yeah,
Um,
then you fail this year.
Yeah, and that was an issue I had. You know, long time listeners will remember that was an issue I had with the 5-star Grand Prix, where it was like every year the winner of the 5-star Grand Prix would then go on and win the title at the end of the year, and that happened like 2 or 3 years in a row. And I was like, all
It
right,
was 3 years in a row and 3 years total out of the entire tournament history, and Ryan was ready to lose his shit.
I was like, come on, guys, can we do something else?
Literally failure for 6 straight years, and Ryan was like, continue.
That is accurate. But I just think we need to do something a little bit different here. And I do think having the title go to Swerve, and even if it's for a cup of coffee and then go to like an Osprey, I think that would be well received, at least by me.
Yeah.
Um, but it would be interesting to see who that could be. I think ultimately Swerve and Hangman would be the most interesting thing. Now that doesn't include Will Ospreay losing again, which is again plays into my theory that he's the current Cody Rhodes for AEW, where he's just a big old loser. But yeah, I'm fascinated.
You
to
see
see
big old Cody Rhodes, I see the AEW version of Shota Umino. What's the difference?
Well, at least we get good matches out of Will Ospreay.
I know the joke was they both lose.
Who
That was it.
who is more the Shota Umino? I guess Adam Cole was for a long while, right? A guy that like just
Now
get
it's
pushed.
Cope.
Now it's Cope. Yeah, I think Cope. I
Would you rather
fear.
watch Cope or Shota Umino wrestle right now? One of them had a great match this week.
Yeah, but not
Just
because
saying.
of not because of Shota Umino.
Just saying.
I guess in a big spot, I guess Shota.
I just wanted to make you say it.
Yeah, in a big spot. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess I'm gonna take like Japanese wrestling over American wrestling. You know what I mean? So that's always gonna help. Um, so what's happening with Cope? I fear that I feel like I think it's
again.
I think it's gonna be convoluted, Scotty. But I think we're heading to FTR versus Christian and Cage and Adam Cope somehow. I don't know how we're gonna get there, but I think that's gonna be the all-in match. It's gonna be silly.
Hot take. That would kind of rule.
All right. I think it's gonna I think it'll rule right now on paper, Scotty. I think it's already too convoluted of how we would get there.
That's fine, but Christian and Edge as a tag team rather than singles is way better.
Sure.
Than them as singles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see Cope in singles at all anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair.
And Christian, I mean, he's been doing the same gimmick for like 4 years now. So like any change is good.
Yeah. And now that he doesn't have the world title,
that always felt like the direction eventually. They just obviously he got hurt and FTR disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of went away. But that feels like the match they definitely would want to have.
There was an element of hamster wheeling, so why not just build it up now? So
and in the end, Hurt Business still wins.
Yeah, I think
Syndicate. Sorry, I get that wrong every time.
I know I get it wrong all the time too. I think Hurt Syndicate, by the way, just real as a slight tangent rant. I think Hurt Syndicate needs to have more tag team matches where they just squash people in world title matches.
Agree.
They need to have they did the private party one, which I loved. And then they just have like more 50. They've had like 50 and 50.
I liked the guns one too.
The guns one was pretty good.
Destroyed the guns.
But they need to have more like title matches where they destroy people and less 50-50 things.
They should do the Leo Rush Action Andretti one and they just decimate them.
Yeah. Have Rush and Action Andretti bump
Here's
over.
my other hot take. They should just be having matches.
I also agree. I want to see them every week destroying somebody.
Yes.
Make a new tag team so that they can destroy them. That's all I want. That's all I
Well,
want.
they did, and then they just like went with the Outrunners.
Yeah, I
And
did
then
pitch.
they didn't destroy them.
I pitched this idea of a new tag team. This would be the new segment on the show. Ryan pitches a new AEW tag team that can be easily made.
Is that a new segment or just a segment we've been doing for the past year?
Uh,
This is not official.
I guess it's the title to the segment that we've been doing for the past year. Speedball and Orange Cassidy as a tag team. It's like the tortoise and the hare of tag team wrestling. I think that's a good one.
What that reminds me?
What's
What
that?
that reminds me? That actually works.
Thank you.
Don't call them the tortoise and the hare though.
No.
Orange Cassidy to me.
Oh, did I open the door to a rant? Hold on. let me open the door. Squeak! Open it. Look at it.
Me is AEW's Yeet Man in every way.
No, I can't agree to that. I can't agree to that.
He should never be in the main event.
Yes.
Mid-card title reign was fine. But now I don't like Orange Cassidy, so you're never gonna convince me.
I know. I'm not going to go as far as that. I can't.
The company
because the Yeet Man the Yeet Man also has go away heat, and Orange doesn't have that.
But he doesn't. He doesn't have go away heat in real life. In WWE, he doesn't. People love him.
Yeah.
Not in the terms of us. I mean, in the terms of the AEW retrosphere, he is the Yeet Man of AEW. And I will stay with it, and you will not move me.
I'm looking at the AEW roster page if I can find anybody else to really counter that argument. Oh boy, there really is not a lot of options. I'm already in the M's. That honestly so loud in my ears for some reason that I felt my heart skip a beat. That startled me so much.
He is the Yeet Man. He is over. People like him, but he's overpushed, and we've gone way too far where he should be. Thank you.
It's tough because it's like, who else are like big upper mid card guys?
There's gonna be like one AEW fan that might hear that and they might kill me. And you know what? That might just be Ryan.
No, I don't think it'll be me because I don't think I can come up with a good enough counter argument. Because like, who else is like upper mid carders, right? It's like, I guess even to a certain extent, I guess mid carders is like Hobbs.
He's never been pushed.
No, he has not. There's a lot of different people, I guess.
The AEW roster page still has the Young Bucks as IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions.
Remember when I noticed that they updated the AEW roster page?
Yes.
The day with other stuff, the same day that the Young Bucks lost those tag titles, and I was like, why did they not just change it?
Yeah. Also, it should just be noted that the Young Bucks may never work again.
Anyways, remember when AEW worked a bunch of California dates and the Young Bucks never appeared?
Yeah. Going to work is not a thing people do.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that, Scotty.
Hey, me either. But that's
all right.
Us and the Young Bucks, same.
How hokey would it be for us to get that as a soundboard? Is just the tish, the rim shot?
Oh, we absolutely should have it because that's the type of show we have.
That's
hokey, a little cheesy, but we have a good time.
CMLL had their big time Friday show. I believe it was fully sold out.
Say the name.
It was CMLL Homenaje. Oh fuck. A Dos Leyendas was the show.
I believe it's Dos Leyendas.
Yeah, you're
not
right.
A.
It is. You're right. It is fucking gringo.
Most like it's triple A.
Triple, yeah. Triple mania. All those things.
Triple mania.
CMLL big time show, Arena, Mexico. I believe it was fully sold out. Let me see if I can. Let's see if I can get that quickly verified. Last I checked, it was very close. We'll go through the card here.
I'm doing the yeet of AEW.
This is me, but I'm doing this. The show sucks. Hold on, can you do that again? It's me doing the yeet with the two thumbs. Oh
Ah,
boy. All right, we have fun here. We have fun here, folks. CMLL, Homenaje a dos Leyendas had a big time show. The big Friday show here celebrated 100 years of fuck, I forgot CMLL's owner's name all of a sudden. Shit, what the fuck is his name? Also, he's 100 years old. Can you fucking believe that, Scotty? Isn't that crazy? This man's 100. He's older than the promotion. He's older than the Salvador Lutheroff. I believe is how you pronounce his last name. I'm not entirely positive.
I feel 100 years old.
Yeah, well, you are. Let's go through. Let's slowly go through this show here. Starting off with a 6-man tag team match. Los Gemelos Diablos and Akuma teaming up and defeating the team of Star Black, Fugaze, and Explosivo. What do you think of this opener here, Scotty?
Say it with me. I didn't watch it.
It was good. I thought
it
was like solidly good. I think it went 3 flat, maybe 2 3/4.
Oh, it's as good as Cope versus Mox.
This also had different expectations. That was bad because of the world title match. This was like an opener. I'm like, this is fun. Have you seen the image of this group coming out for their entrance? Did you see the image here?
No.
Let me see if I can find it and should pop it up on the screen here for us. No, it turns out if you type in Akuma, you get a bunch of Street Fighter or whatever this fucking thing is. But it was really nice. It was solid. I think effort here. They do a little bit where you know how like in these 6-mans they do like captain fall matches.
Yes.
They did a thing where the captain of this match was Gemelo Diablo 2. And when they announced it, like, and here's your captain, Gemelo Diablo 2, both Diablos are on like the middle rope posing, and both of them raise their arm at the same time. And it's like, to me, I'm like, well, wait, hold on, which guy is it? they come out, they dress the exact same. They are they basically look like two Galeno Del Mals.
And they came out to you can look but you can't touch. You can no.
I don't think they did.
They didn't come out to the Bella song because they did Bella Twin Magic.
They actually didn't come out to that one. They came out to Bree mode, if you could believe it.
Bree mode. You mean that one?
I think so. I think I mean that one. Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can find their entrance attire because it ruled.
Hello, everyone. We've reached the part where I lose my mind on Ring Post Radio.
To me, always the best time of the show. Let's talk about the next match here then. The CMLL World Women's Tag Team Title Tournament final match. This is Luvia and La Jarachita defeat the team of Lady Frost and Taya Valkyrie. Scotty, what do you think of this one?
Didn't watch it.
I
watched the rest of the show from this point forward.
Okay, great. In hindsight, I wish I knew that beforehand. This match,
I'm not good at telling you details.
I gave this 2 stars, and I'm probably generous.
Babu.
This was not great. Lady Frost, I thought was real sloppy. Taya Valkyrie, I thought was like solid, but that's saying something. If Taya Valkyrie solid, Lady Frost, I thought was really kind of messy here, and that was kind of frustrating. She kind of blew a couple spots. It was a shame. She could have easily been like one of the better ones in this match, and I thought she was one of the lesser ones
in CMLL. So
and the CMLL tag team was fine for what it was, but not great. Not a great match. Cage match has a 4.5.
I don't find Yuvi to be very good.
Yeah.
She's got a world title match on that Lucha show I was talking about earlier.
Oh,
well, not a world title match, a CMLL Japan title match.
Yes. I cannot find this picture, but I'm going to do everything in my power, and I hope and pray to God that when I set this up for Scotty, he can buy me some time. Scotty, next match here: Teton versus Templario. What do you think of it?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lightning match, so like it's kind of hard to. For me, with a lightning match, it's like okay, we have a ceiling. We can't get much higher than said ceiling. I thought they had a fun match, nothing blow away. Would have liked to see these two just have like a really great singles match straight up. But I don't complain. I think Teton just getting anything is good. Like I feel like I've said this before, but T-Ty always feels like he's just like not in CMLL. So it was actually nice for him to. It feels like lately he feels like it. Heating him up for the Super Juniors. Templario should be in it, by the way, too. I think both of them should be in it. You know, United Empire's own Templario. It was
LIJ's
good.
own Teton. There's LIJ
It was
versus
good.
United Empire here.
Yeah, that's true. It was a good match. It was a good match. No, simple but solid.
Yeah, it's a match that I think could have been hopefully a little bit better, but it was still very good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I was
That's
hoping, like
lightning match, man.
that's fair. That is fair. I always get tricked in those lightning matches. But yeah, I think it was very solid. It was fun. And it was good to watch, and I enjoyed it. I think I'm just gonna have to take a screenshot on my own accord. So give me more
Are you
seconds.
still trying to get their gear?
Because it looked cool. It looked cool, and I want to show it to you. And I will find it one of these days. Eventually.
I can probably just check myself at this point.
I mean, probably could. I can't even find it. So maybe you could, maybe you can't. Next up, I thought, yeah, like I said, very good match. The other thing I want to talk about real quickly about the guys I'm trying to show the picture of, Akuma and Diablos, is that they had a sort of like 70s, 80s lucha vibe. Heel lucha team vibe. Like when I watched a lot of Los Infernales and a lot of their early stuff, they had like a similar vibe to them for me. So that I did enjoy that. That was the one thing I wanted to mention about that. CMLL World Tag Team Title match: Los Hermanos Chavez versus Rocky Romero and Volador Jr. This match went to a double count out after 19 minutes and 9 seconds.
That was fun.
And then after like just a too long of a bit of like, restart the match. No, we don't want to restart it. Yes, let's do. And then Rocky and Volador are leaving. Commissioner decides, okay, we'll restart it. And then they restart it. And then a minute and 27 seconds later, they restart it. And Los Hermanos Chavez still get the win by defeating Rocky and Volador after not wanting to have the win already from the double countout. Scotty, what'd you think of this the whole package here?
I thought it was a good match. That's kind of what I walk away from most of the time with Los Hermanos Chavez. They just have good matches, man. It's not a bad thing. And I like Rocky Romero and CMLL. I feel like I say this every time that he pops back in for some sort of match, but I think he's obviously still very good. This is kind of his best spot at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
I would have liked if the double count out didn't take as long as it did. Well, or not the double count out, but the restart.
Mm-hmm.
But
agreed.
The wrestling was good. So
yeah, the restart just like it went on too long
to be only a minute long.
It went on too long, which then like it lost that momentum. It stalled out a little bit too long. Yeah, I agree. I think it was a pretty good match. A little duller because of that restart. And it's also that thing of like, if you're going to restart it and draw out that much, please have the second part of the match longer.
Right. Not like 1 minute.
Yeah.
Give me 5, man.
Give me something. Give me something. A little
like
bit
it
more.
just when it just ended, I was like, oh, we did all that for that. All right, cool. Sounds good. Appreciate it. But yeah, that is my takeaway. Up to this point, it was a fine show from what I saw. But it escalates with the next match.
Yes, it does. And did I find the picture I want to find? No, but I found a picture of this tag team. If you can believe
good enough for me. Let's see it.
Put
it on the board.
To end this bit.
Yes.
Here we go. Uploading. There we go.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's a cooler image where it's the three of them in their mini, like all standing like a fear shot. Yeah, it's cool. it's very cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
I was expecting.
I enjoyed it. They came out like that. I was like, big time match, big time show. Let's rule, baby. Next match, El Sky Team. No, what is cage match? It's not El Sky Team.
That is El Sky Team.
Oh no, yeah, it is El Sky Team. I'm confusing it with what was it, Lucha Legends or whatever the other name was called. Mystico and Mascara Dorada, El Sky Team defeat Los Tiantes de Air. I believe. Hologram and Commander, obviously from AEW and Ring of Honor. Yeah, I thought this match was legitimately great. I went 4 flat on it. It's ruled. Commander was great, making the jump from AAA and CMLL, and his whole history with CMLL back in the day was really nice. And of course, seeing Hologram make his Mexico debut. This guy, despite being a really great lucha libre wrestler, never wrestled in Mexico before, if you can believe it, Scotty. Just like it's crazy. It's crazy how good he was here and how
Should have
comfortable in the
known the bit
environment
was coming.
and how great in the environment he was. But I thought this match was great. And Scotty, I might upset you with this. And this isn't just because like the crowd started booing him, but
Oh, it was not Mystico's night.
no, Mystico was the weak man of this match, which is
Yeah.
saying something.
I don't. So I saw people say he had a bad night. I don't think he actually had a bad night. I just think he took some tough tumbles. like anytime he hit something, he ate it. Like when he did a Hurricanrana to the outside,
Mhm.
and instead of like landing on his feet, he just thumped on
Yeah.
the floor, and I was like, oh,
He was
and
working.
yeah, he had a tough night. He had a tough night, but his tough night didn't take away from the match tough night.
Yes.
Like, I still thought he was pretty solid. It was just the other 3 are the young, high-flying, crazy guys, so it's like, yeah, like,
Yes.
he's gonna be like, "Oh, okay." I thought this match was great. I love this match.
Same.
Um, this is the most I've ever liked Hologram. I
Which
think he
shocks, not a big shock for the guy in Arena Mexico having that great
Yeah,
match
I
here.
know. I thought he just came off like the star that AEW wants him to.
Mhm.
And also the rise of Commander has been very exciting.
Yeah.
He went from a guy who obviously had his moments to now feels consistently one of the best luchadors, at least that's on US TV.
Yeah.
Um, though, gotta stop having him lose in AEW. Gotta stop because I like that they put these 2 together because I think their ceiling is higher together than apart.
Agreed.
Um, I think they're a great tag team. I
At
thought
least
they
for
had a great
now.
look. Yeah,
They're-
for now.
yeah.
Let them grow together instead
Yes.
of just watching Commander lose every singles match and Hologram winning singles matches against the Beast Mortos only.
Which
You
is
know,
what I
like,
which is what I've been arguing is the point of tag team wrestling or creation of tag teams is
yeah.
you can help.
And this is a great creation of a tag team. Like, they're
Yes.
exciting. Though, shout out to the Lucha Stars. They lived a long time. Uh those are long range, great change of the names. I love the new name. Um yeah, they were fantastic, and I feel like I haven't said this in a while, but Mascara Dorada is absurd. This guy does things that I just am like, how do you move like that? I
There
saw
was a
someone say they should do him and Commander for the TV title on Supercard of Honor. I was like, yes, they fucking should.
yeah.
That sounds incredible.
Did you
Because
see?
you can have Dorada lose.
Yeah.
That's not a big deal, Like, that's something that CMLL is not against yet. They're getting there,
Mhm.
but they're not against it yet.
They had a great spot here. I think this was the spot. It was Commander doing his rope walk to the outside, and I
Yes.
think it was immediately followed up with. I don't know if it was that same spot, but it was somewhere along the lines where Hologram also then does
Spanish fly,
the
right?
Spanish fly off the thing onto Dorada, I believe,
Yeah.
onto the floor. That
Yeah.
ruled.
That was awesome.
Yeah, just the high spot lucha libre bullshit that happens. There's a crucifix driver in here, I think, at one point where the
Yeah.
Commander takes where he just looks dead.
This was everything you wanted this match to be, like, to the
Exactly,
point, like,
exactly.
this is the highlight show,
Yes, it was
and
exactly
that's what
what
it
you
was.
thought on the 10. The Mystic part, I wouldn't say necessarily tough night for him. It was just the sort of thing of like, I think Mystico in the match looked.
Slow.
A little sluggish compared, a little lazier than his compatriots. Which, to be fair, he is what I don't know, maybe probably a decade older than all of them. I'm
I
gonna
think so,
guess.
yeah. Yeah.
Like
I think
that, like
Hologram's the second oldest, right?
probably. I mean, do we have ages of any of these guys?
Hologram is
26.
26, and then
Commander is
Commander's, like,
26. Dorada is 23. Jesus fucking
Yeah,
Christ.
there you go. Mystico's
Mystico
40
is
what?
42 actually.
Yeah, I wonder why it looked like that.
That Spanish fly that Mystico does at the end, where
Yeah.
it's like oh he's going for a Spanish fly. It's really just he just does an arm drag cell. He's like I'm not doing the flip. I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
horizontal with it.
He felt like that guy. He felt I don't know, like this is very it's it's like if you ever seen like an old dog with a bunch of puppies? They're
No.
all energetic and moving, and the old dog just wants nothing to do with them. He just sits there
Yeah.
and lays down. That's what these three were. Like, and then Mystico's like,
All right, I gotta do something here.
like I saw Commander get in the ring ready to go, and Mystico's like, fucking hold on for a second.
These fucking
He's
young
like,
guns.
He's like, let me clap and get my shit together, man. Because you're about to hit La Mystica on me. I need a breather, okay?
Yeah.
And part of me that's my Mystico fandom is
Sure.
he is so funny on like I don't know if he means it, he doesn't, but he's just that. The match ruled though. He didn't take away from it whatsoever. I actually thought him and Commander had a fine final stretch.
Yeah,
But Master Dorada pinned hologram.
The La Mystica into the other La Mystica.
Yeah.
We got not only did Massacre Dorada and Hologram pin each other to eliminate each other, this ended up being Hologram's first loss ever, I believe.
I can guarantee you AEW never says a word about it.
I guarantee
they'll show highlights.
They're gonna show highlights, and Tony Schiavone's gonna talk about how Hologram and Commander won the match.
They pinned Mystico, and everyone's gonna be like, "Huh?"
He did the La Mystica and pinned Mystico. We're like, "Huh? What?"
They should send El Sky Team to Super Card of Honor.
Yeah, hey, send them more places. I don't care. Did you see that we got a date for Super Card of Honor now?
That's why I keep bringing it up.
May 2nd. No more WrestleMania weekend. Do you have any quick thoughts on that?
Not smart.
One less
other way to see Ring of Honor, man.
I'll say one less thing for us to do WrestleMania weekend. I'll just sit back and
relax.
I'm
not going to complain. Because that show was always like, oh, it's Friday night. I gotta fucking sit here and watch it live. Now it's like, all right, cool. Every other show, I'm realizing since they're on the West Coast, every show for us is just ungodly late again, like it was 2 years ago when WrestleMania was in LA.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I think like for example, I think like the Marvelous show for me starts at like midnight, and I was like, what the fuck?
What time is like scheduled? Like 10 or something?
I think 9 there, and I was like, oh. You gotta be kidding me. Let me I want to double check. It actually might be way worse than what I just said. Can we have a little segment here about Stardom?
Sure.
1 second. Let me see if I can. I now need to know what date this was or what time this was, because it might be worse than I thought.
My conspiracy theory on them also moving the date is that Stardom American Dream is also on that Friday, which is when Super Card of Honor. And I don't know if they would have competed at the same time, but now they're promotional partners, quote unquote. Like, I wonder if they're like, well, we can't do it that date. Stardom already booked it.
Yeah, and I think Tony Khan just hates busy.
Yeah, he's wanted to leave with WrestleMania weekend for years. I mean, basically when they started, when they started owning Ring of Honor, he wanted to leave, so I'm not shocked that eventually happened.
Okay. Oh, it's so much worse.
This is the WrestleMania weekend Marvelous show.
It starts at 11 p.m. local time. Holy.
Local to Las Vegas?
Yeah, that's 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Eastern.
Yikes.
Oh my God.
That's 2 a.m. Is a 3-hour time difference. Yeah, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
12, 1, 2, yeah.
Well, never mind. It got worse than I thought.
The kind of WrestleMania weekend where I'm just gonna be watching a bunch of stuff in the morning and calling it a day.
I wonder where they're airing all those from that series of shows. The DPW and the West Coast and the.
Oh, they probably have it announced somewhere, right? I mean,
Well, they
Well,
all
West
run
Coast,
on YouTube except for DPW, who runs on their own streaming service.
yeah.
There's no way they're going to put everything up for free.
Yeah,
Right.
DPW putting up something for free? Anyway,
Well, that
so
wasn't my main shot. Oh, but my Stardom thing, since we're just on WrestleMania weekend,
yes.
Stardom announced the whole lineup for the US show,
Mhm.
and I would like to tell everyone them if
Okay.
they don't know them.
All right.
Here's your
Do it.
full lineup heading to Vegas.
They announced it just now.
They announced it last night at like midnight or something when I was very awake and no one else was. So obviously I have it right. Here's your full lineup going to Vegas. Starlight Kid, Tekla, Hanan, Suzu Suzuki, Natsuko Tora, Konami, Saida, Hanako, Mina Shirakawa, Azumi, Maika, Shuri, Momo Watanabe, Hazuki. That's it.
All right.
You are missing the World of Stardom champion.
Yeah.
You were missing Tam Nakano on
Well,
what
she
is
doesn't.
very
She doesn't
likely
work
her
for the
last tour.
She doesn't work for the company anymore. So
Then
of course,
she should just be able to go there by herself.
as a freelancer, she should work
Yeah, as a
WrestleMania
freelancer.
weekend, but not the Stardom show.
That'd be funny. Natsupoi, Seriano, May Sarah. Oh, and of course, Mayu Iwatani.
Huh.
So yeah.
Huh.
Huh,
Hmm.
huh.
Huh. Huh.
But yeah,
Hmm.
when they announced it, because I was expecting Mayu not to be on it. So that's mostly what I was looking for. But I was like, they didn't put the two biggest stars in the company on this card either. Saya Kamatani legitimately shocked me. Tam, you could do that storyline easy. Saya, I was like, I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Well,
She was originally scheduled. I know that
Mhm.
for fact.
Mhm.
And now she's not there. So they must just like be healing them.
That would make sense to me.
But Starlight Kid is literally shoot injured right now.
Well, she'll probably be a part of a tag match, so it's not that going to be that big thing for
She's
her,
gonna
I
do like
guess.
maybe 3 moves.
Yeah. Yeah, because also the Stardom show last year was like mostly tag matches, but they did have a World of Stardom title match, if I
They did.
recall.
They did.
So
They
interesting.
won this year.
I mean, yeah, that's the other thing too, is that you also have to remember that they're probably going to fill it out with more like AEW talent, like Willow,
Yeah.
Megan Bain,
They are
Mariah
sending
May.
one more wrestler than they did last year, so it is
That's
similar amount.
But
Yeah,
like I
I'm
said,
thinking
like
Willow,
last year they
Mariah,
had
Tony, maybe.
yeah.
They have
Mercedes is
2
always
shows. They gotta fill it.
Mercedes is always a chance, right, as a title defense.
That would be good for a main event.
Yeah, if you're not doing Saya, then you can do Mercedes as a New Japan Strong
If you're
defense.
not doing Saya and you don't
You can't do
if
Starlight.
you're not doing Saya, you definitely can't do Starlight, and Mercedes isn't going over for Queendom. I think that's absolutely what you should do. Put her and Azumi main event.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I don't know how ticket sales are doing for Queendom, but I mean, do you need Mercedes for that show when you have a career versus title versus
Okay, so I asked.
it's a career versus title versus career versus hair versus title
It's
versus
it's going to be an incredible amount of tickets, probably their most ever. But they want 10,000, so everything in my brain says, "Well, you have to add this, and you got to load up here." So Mercedes would help.
Sure,
You know,
sure,
she is
sure.
Mercedes Monet.
Have they started selling tickets for that show yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Which, with their new website, you've made me realize, can I check how they're doing? Let's see. You can continue with the rest of the show, but
well, we only have basically one thing left, and that is the Apuestas tag match, I guess we could say, going into the main event, which was Star Jr. Zandokan Jr. defeating Esfinge and Valiente 13 minutes and 39 seconds, which was a fine little match here. Valiente rules. I greatly enjoy Valiente even more.
He does.
Zandokan Jr. and Star Jr. get the win, which means we go into a mask versus mask match between the two, Star Jr. and Zandokan, where Zandokan Jr. gets the win, defeats Star Jr. 15 minutes and 58 seconds, and we get the reveal. Star Jr. takes off his own mask. He reveals he is 31-year-old. I'm going to do my best to say here. Isaias Hernandez Lopez, 31 years old, from Mexico City, Mexico. Does not look 31 years old, the oldest 31 looking old man I've ever seen in my life. And then immediately attacks Sandokan Jr. afterwards. So potentially you also have a Technico turning a Rudo potentially as well during this match. He double turn, I think, as well, with Sandokan getting a lot of cheers from the crowd post match as well. So
Good. The Pirates should get cheers.
I agree. So we got a probable double turn here with Star Jr. and Sandokan. And obviously the match previous to it as well. But what do you think of the tag match? What do you think of the main event here, the mask versus match Apuestas?
I quite enjoyed the tag match. El Valiente.
Big Valiente pod over here. Big Valiente pod.
As I like to say,
short and sweet. Short and sweet, baby.
As I say, the Danny DeVito of Lucha Libre. And some might say that's a bad thing. To me, that's class, man. As Ryan said before the show, big Jersey Mike's guys here at Ring Post Radio. So obviously, we love us some Danny DeVito.
Which then by proxy means that we love us some Valiente. And we do. And
Valiente rules. Valiente is a 50-year-old man who is very short but does the good stuff.
When he comes flying for the ropes, it's like firing a bullet. You know what I mean? Like, not in terms of
I don't know if
speed,
he's gonna like make it.
Not in terms of speed, but in terms of size and roundness.
Dude rules.
He
rules.
Every single time I see him in a spot, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
I was so worried he was gonna lose his mask here. So when he didn't lose his mask, I was very happy. I don't see him a lot, but when I do see him, he delivers.
Will Esfinge and Valiente ever lose their mask? Will that happen at some point soon? Maybe next year. We'll find out.
Maybe next year.
The quest continues.
Show. Probably not. They're just good. They're just additions to those matches.
Apparently.
Hilarious. It's honestly a great like rib though that they got going here with those two. It's like, we're just gonna put you in the mask match. You'll never lose. And they're like, all right, Pete, sure, sounds good.
That's fine. Nice
in terms of the actual match itself, the
main event,
the main event. I thought it was good, probably very good, but no, I don't think I'm as high as like the people that said it's like, like I didn't go 4 or higher, which I know a lot of people did. I was right under it. I was right under it. Sue me, Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes a great match. Hey, you know what? Bring it back to the 3.5, conversation from last week. 3.5 and 3.5, 3.75, 3 That's a great match. It's a good time. I had a good time. Yeah.
Audience, I want you all to know that speaking of bullets, Scotty has taken one for me.
I'm here to take the bullets for my partner.
I appreciate it, my guy. Yeah, I came into
you were so scared.
I was terrified because I'm in the same exact boat as you're in. I thought this match was really, really good. But I just like could not get into it on the same level that like everyone online was getting it. I was seeing multiple match of the year contenders from people, and that's obviously totally fine. If people are saying that they enjoyed this match and they love this match,
amen, brother.
I love that for you. I just couldn't get into it on the same wavelength. Right now in Cage Match, 16 votes, 8.12. Like fun. That's a solid 4 basically, but
it's gone up since when you said it before the show.
You
were feeling great before the show.
Yeah, I just I'm happy to hear, Scotty, that you are on the same boat as me, where it's like it was really good. Yeah. I enjoyed it, and I can't really pinpoint what about it.
I can
get me. Go for it, please.
I'm not that into these two, so there you go. There you go.
I think I'm more into Sandokan Jr. than you are. But yeah, Star Jr. I'm not really fully into Star Jr. though.
Like when Headster and Euphoria had their ending match, I was into that. I'm invested in that. This one I was like, oh, this is cool.
And that could easily be part of it. It maybe there was an element, even though we follow CMLL to a certain degree, maybe that is an element, a little bit of parachuting in, like a half parachute in. Maybe that's on us, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I thought the match was really well done. It just, I could not get to match of the year contenders. I'm seeing like 10, Scotty. I'm seeing 9s. I'm seeing match of the year contenders,
which is nice. You know what?
Which, by the way, not a single 10 so far in Cage Match. I've seen people talk about 5 stars online, but not a single 10 on Cage Match yet. But we'll see if that changes.
Get your 10s in. Get this
Yeah.
match highly rated. The 10 people,
But I think
no, it was a very good show. I thought it was a good show.
yeah, I thought well, yeah,
Not
you also
last year's.
you skipped the first 2 matches with one of them
Of
being a
course I
2-star
did.
match.
Listen, man. I know
What
how to
better than
walk away
last
from
year?
big
Hold on,
shows.
better than
I said
last.
it's not better than last
Okay,
year.
okay, good because I
No.
agree with that. I don't think it was better than last
I
year.
don't think it came close to last year.
Mhm.
Last year was incredible.
Yeah.
Last year was like otherworldly. This year, though, good show. CMLL, still good.
I also think for our taste in lucha, I'm not shocked that the tag match with Mystico and Dorada versus Hologram and Commander, we enjoyed that more than the main event. I'm not really
Mm.
shocked knowing our taste in lucha.
I To be fair to everyone or just us, I almost always prefer Dorada and Mystico over everything else on
Mhm.
CMLL. Happened to put them in the same match against Hologram and Commander. There was not a world I would like them any less,
Yeah.
or like that was always going to be my preference. But overall, it's a fun show.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair.
I
I think
I,
that's
I
fair.
think I'm excited to see where they go next. Obviously, I'd really like this anniversary show this year to be huge.
Yeah.
So like not Chris Jericho,
No Claudio. I've had enough of Claudio and
no
CMLL.
Claudio, no Jericho. Those are my 2 asks.
Um,
And if you're gonna do a mask match, probably put it in the main event like you did here.
let's do Mystico versus Hologram singles. Let's do that. Let's throw that in there. I'll take that.
Um,
How do you feel about I had this thought during that hologram commander conversation. What do you think about uh, y'all in Texas, Hurt Syndicate versus the Air Titans?
hmm.
In some ways, I also feel like that match won't work. You know what I mean? Like,
They would be great bases.
mhm,
Hold on. Hear me out here. Think about this.
thinking
Shelton Benjamin super kicking one of them out of the air
I'm into
into
it.
oblivion.
What if
Bobby
think about this?
Lashley just
Bobby
eating
Lashley
one of
taking
them.
a Spanish fly.
I think if they build them up enough, it'll be great. That being said, I don't think there's a shot in hell that they
You
get
know,
it. Like, I feel like FTR, the Young Bucks are going to be the tag title match
yeah,
because, if the Young Bucks feel like coming to work ever again,
yeah.
I
What
have to
about
do that every time because they just are never here.
it'd probably be a 3-way if you wanted to do it that with the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
Because the
Feels
FTR,
like the best way to not have Bob and Shelton get pinned either.
that's also true. But there's an element of like what would work for me for that match would be more of what I talked about Hurt Syndicate, where they destroy more guys, and then now
Mm,
here you have like these 2 smaller like lucha guys come out,
yeah.
but they're great, obviously. So it's
What
like
what about a
the
4-way
threat of them getting discussed. A 4-way that's
with
annoying, but
Tiante's Day Air in there as well?
I'm pitching them as
Oh, with Bucks and either FTR or Kyle and Roddy. So you have grounded.
oh for 4th you're putting in Kyle and Roddy. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That could be fun. That could be enjoyable. FTR, I'm throwing them out just because they Christian Cage and Cope. I think
Yeah.
is Christian
Yeah.
Cope.
I think that works. And I don't mind. I know everyone wants everything to be straight up and for the biggest shows of the year.
Mhm.
But listen, we live in a world where Seth Rollins somehow got into the Roman Reigns CM Punk match. Not everything's perfect. Um,
Well, we all know.
so
I can probably guess why he got in that match, but
I can't because I'm shocked that Roman's like, yeah, I'll let him in. Like, that is the most shocking thing of the year. No one talks about it. Roman doesn't do things for people like that. Anyways, that's a conversation in a few weeks. I don't give a shit for
fair
now.
enough.
What was I talking about? Oh, like I think 4 tag teams on the big show of the year is fine and fun and enjoyable. You give them 15 minutes to tear the house down. I think that works.
Also, as an
Um,
opener, that could be like an easy opener.
yeah, it'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. Just don't do a ladder. Just do it 4-way match.
Yeah.
Just plain and simple. And that way you could probably get the belts off of Bobby and Shelton by then
Mhm.
without pinning them because I feel like you just never want to pin these guys.
At least Bobby. At the very least, Bobby.
Yeah, they can pin Shelton, but like, I feel like them losing the tag belts, it's just not going to go cleanly.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I will also say, if we don't have them lose the belts, I would like to formally request at Forbidden Door, um, Hurt Syndicate versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Rohei Oiwa. I would like to formally request that right now. I think Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shelton Benjamin is a very interesting match to me. And then Oiwa versus Bobby. Let's go. That's
I don't know
request.
why, but just the image of Bobby Lashley running through Zack Sabre Jr.
him flailing.
I think people would probably like. Obviously, people love to have Zack in the big matches, but that would be way more fun.
Yeah.
That's a shout out Oiwa, by the way. Who does Takeshita represent on that show?
Who do we know? CMLL, of course.
DDT.
DDT, of course.
Because technically he still works for them.
Yeah. Has he been on a DDT show this year?
He's on the US one.
Oh, so that's so no. That's what you're saying.
No. No, he might have been at the beginning of the year, actually.
I'm checking now.
When he was over there. He might have been.
Yes, he had one match January 3rd.
Ha!
Good for him.
Eat shit, Ryan.
All right. Noah had a show as well, Star Navigation Premium in Corkin Hall.
I can't wait to hear you talk about this show because you were amped about it.
It was, of what I watched, I think the last 5 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. And I thought what I watched was pretty solid. I enjoyed it.
Wait a minute. The show was not Sunny Voyage.
Yeah, I know. It was Star Navigation Premium, but Cage Match has it as a Sunny Voyage, which is
I know. That's why I just am looking at both. I'm like, did I have it wrong in my spreadsheet? My spreadsheet's never wrong. Except it is, which is periodically.
They had some other matches in here, but I'm just going to move on and talk about the matches that I watched until we get to the point where we can talk. We can throw you into here. We got GHC National Championship Tournament first round. I think it's only first round, and then they face off later.
This result's going to break me. I can tell.
Tetsuya Endo defeats Takeshi Shigura in 5 minutes and 59 seconds.
I hate this company.
This was actually, I thought, good. And Takeshi Shigura reacting because he lost in like a very kind of like I think maybe like a horizontal shrimp hold is the move that was called here, which I think is a pin attempt sort of thing. And he got caught basically, and Segura reacting afterwards, like throwing shit around and kicking things. He was just like pissed about it, losing that quickly. I thought it was a nice bit of business, but yeah. Next up, Kenta versus Ulka Sasaki, where Kenta picks up the win, defeating Sasaki 11 minutes and 22 seconds. Afterwards, Ulka Sasaki joins Kenta and Kano.
So they're just
Team Team Ken is now Team Ken Ulk. Team Ulka Ken.
Kennel can. The old oil can. They should just like go by like Kenta Goon or something at this point. Like this is that's a hell of a team though.
Yeah, pretty good match, I thought. But yeah,
Kenta's found his way, which is nice because something's about to happen with Kenta, and he's gonna save the company.
What's interesting to me though, that adding Ulka in here makes me very dubious about the you're alluding to something, which is also what I'm saying here is that maybe the GHC tag team title isn't going to go to Kenta, and there was also a match where maybe it's not, but maybe it's going to be like a Kano Ulka Sasaki tag team. That
I think that is legitimately the perfect role for both of them.
I think I tend to agree.
In 2025.
Now that's not happening a tournament anymore, so we'll talk about what that match now is.
Yeah, that's funny.
We'll get to that in a moment. GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Title match. The team of Junta Miyawaki and Amakusa defeat the champions Yohei and Hayata. This was a failed 6th attempt Amakusa and Junta become the 62nd champions. I thought this was a really, really fun match, Scotty. I wrecked it to you. I don't know if you were able to watch it, but I thought it was a really fun match. Junta Miyawaka getting the final big-time win, the title win, holding back tears, and I believe it was Yohei, or I remember if it was Yohei or Hayata. I think it was Yohei, giving him his props after the match as well. So very fun match, very good. And if you're a Junta fan, you're going to be enjoying this one. Anyways, GHC Junior Heavyweight title match. Eita defeats Alejandro, 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Second defense successful here for Eita. And another, solid match. I didn't think I liked it as much as a junior tag, but a solid match here.
I just meant to say this, but I was reading something. I thought it was a bit that you told me to watch a Hayata match.
No, I wasn't doing a bit. It was actually a pretty good match. I think I went for like 3.5 or 3 3/4.
Legitimately stunned.
It was 3.5 or 3 3/4. I don't quite remember, but it was actually really good. It was a legit wreck. And that is a legit wreck for everyone at home. It was a really good match. I know, Hayata, Yohei, I get it, but it was really, really fun. And then the main event, GHC heavyweight title match. Ozawa retains again versus Masa Kiyomiya, 21 minutes and 33 seconds. More of the same with Ozawa here. You get that, and I guess to the extension Team 2000X. A lot of Team 2000X run-ins. They were all there. There was a point where they all came in, like all 5 or 6 of them all came in, stomping down Masa Kiyomiya. Then he takes them all out one by one. That's fun. But, you get more of that. You get that Team 2000X run-in shenanigans. You get Ozawa being disrespectful, which is fun. A lot of that disrespectful stuff that he was doing at the start of the match, he was just like doing squats in front of Masa Kiyomiya. And he was, by the way, Scotty, constantly doing squats throughout the entire match. Whenever there was a chance for Ozawa to do something, he would just start doing squats in front of Masa Kiyomiya, which, of course, if you don't know, Kiyomiya is a trainer, so that's very fun. He was also doing ab exercises as well at one point, so it was very fun. More disrespectful things from Ozawa, but it is the thing, Scotty, of more of the same. I'm enjoying it, but I'm starting to turn around and it's getting a little long in the tooth. We need a little something different, I think, for Ozawa, and that might just be coming around the corner.
I just want you to know, I got there like the second title match he had. That Galeno Damal match, I was done with this guy immediately. I am getting tired. Was this good though?
This was better than Galeno match for sure. Well, easily.
That's good. I will watch this one. I didn't want to watch the Soya one because I just could not get myself to.
Yeah.
But I will watch this one. But it's okay. It's okay. This is when I can get back into the Noah conversation because Noah's gonna be saved. Noah is gonna be saved. The Ark is gonna be saved because old man world champions are back in business, baby. I'll let you take the rest.
Yeah, we got a bunch of match announcements for the future, a bunch of title matches and various things. First off, April 6th, we have the tag team match, Jack Morris and Daga against Galeno and Kaito Kiyomiya. They'll be the 69th GHC tag team champions, whoever wins that. Because they're vacant, but also not a tournament, but also whatever. And also
I like what Galeno and Kaito could do as a duo.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. And I'm glad to see Jack Morris finally doing something because it kind of feels like ever since Team 2000X in the new year, he's disappeared completely.
He had to get his visa renewed.
Yeah. Well, no, he's been around. He's also been around.
Has he been back?
Yeah, he was involved in that main event.
Oh, I didn't know he was back already.
Yeah, when I say disappeared, I mean fall into the backdrop of like it is the NWO where it's just like he's just a guy now. And then you also have a GSC Junior Heavyweight title match on the same show. Kai Fujimura challenging Eita, third.
Ooh, Kai Fujimura, the rookie. That's exciting.
That is exciting. So fun little bit here. The rookie, well, he's a rookie, but also part of All Rebellion. So, he's
good to see.
Rookie plus. A rookie plus there.
Rookie plus. I like that.
414, we get a interesting match here. We get this is in the Cork and Hall show on April 14th. Ozawa and Tetsuya Endo versus Kenta and Kano in a no DQ match. I believe there's a gimmick here where Ozawa states that Kenta needs to win this match to get an actual title shot, But who the fuck cares about that? Because Noah's already promoting it. The show at the Noah 25th anniversary show, Memorial Village and Ryogoku Voyage. Sorry, thank you, not Village, and Ryogoku Kodokan Hall, not in Tokyo, May 3rd. GHC heavyweight title match: Ozawa versus Kenta.
Come on, this is what it's all about. We're back. I can't believe this guy wasted 5 years in New Japan. He just feels at home.
Yeah.
He feels like Kenta again. He'll never be peak Kenta, but he feels like Kenta again.
Mm-hmm.
He's winning that GHC. There's not a doubt in my mind.
If there's also ever a perfect time to get up to change up the Ozawa ship a little bit.
Yeah. At the anniversary show, too. Kenta, anniversary show. And then whatever next big show they're going to run, they're just going to do Kenta and Marufuji one more time, which that might be a train wreck, but it will be fun. But Kenta, let's go.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. And I think Ozawa doing the tricks and stuff just to get his head kicked off will be great.
Yeah.
Like that's when it's going to work because Kenta's going to be like, and just absolutely destroy it. The one thing Kenta still does in Noah, he hits very hard, which is what we always wanted him to do in New Japan, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But he was happy with the paycheck. It's just very funny seeing him driven again.
Yeah.
Because it's like he got paid probably way more money in New Japan to do way less dates. But this just feels right, man. I'm very excited. That's a good Sumo Hall main event, obviously, as well. So should be fun in May, but that's in May, so I don't have to care about it for a very long time.
Yeah, we'll talk about obviously more when we get to it, when we have the full card and everything. But yeah, I wouldn't be shocked also if we have that GC tag team title match, Kano and Oka challenging probably somebody. I imagine Kaito, just because it feels like Kaito needs to be up there.
And that's the rebellion thingy that didn't happen or whatever.
Yeah, and that's how you get Kento and Kano again. Not in a singles match, but in a tag,
which is preferred.
Yeah, so I think it could all work there. Yeah, I think it's a moment where Ozawa can get his ultimate comeuppance against Kenta. No nonsense, no bullshit. I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm not gonna put up with any of this, and I can't wait. That is a very exciting match. We all knew it was coming. And here we are, folks. Here we are. So yeah, that's not till May. Plenty of time to go. But we don't have plenty of time here for Ring Post Radio because we're out of here. We're done with the show. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of Ring Post Radio. We very much appreciate it. We would appreciate if you can leave a comment, subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts. Leave a review. Those really help. By the way, they take no time at all. And because of algorithms and whatnot, reviews really help. So if you can leave a 5-star review, and if you want to leave a little comment, we would appreciate it as well. We would very much appreciate hearing your thoughts on the show.
In the gimmick of what I've been saying, 4 is cool too, man.
We'll take. I would prefer a 5, but 4
prefer a 5. But listen, we know not everything can be a 5-star classic. Okay.
Yeah. But
4 or higher, please.
Yes, ideally 5. But
maybe today was a great match, not an all-time match. Yeah. I get it.
Message Scotty how much you enjoy the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts with 5 stars. That's everyone should do that. Scotty, give us some plugs. Give us your match of the week.
Get sick of doing my plugs, man. YouTube.com/@ScottyWrestling.
You yell at me about doing a bunch of projects.
I don't do anything different. I do the same thing every week. It's just I don't want to do them anymore. Not the content, the plugs. Let me do the plugs. YouTube.com/@ScottyWrestling. There's usually 2 videos up every week. My podcast and something else. This week I talked about my match of the week in a 25-minute video. Chiro Hashimoto versus Meiko Satomura from Sendai Girls, the top of Joshi Wrestling. Excellent match between those two as Meiko's career winds down here in the next month. She only has a month left. Very sad, but Hashimoto is amazing and all that good stuff. Ryan has a scorching hot take that he sent to me.
I texted you. I said, this might be a scorching hot take that I think I watched that match and I came away with it. I was like, Scotty, I think this is a scorching hot take. I think I legitimately will upset people with this hot take. Like, I think I could get in trouble from a lot of Joshi fans. I know a lot of Joshi people listen to the show because via your fans and all that stuff, your listeners. And I feel like I would upset a lot of people when I say this, but I think Chihiro Hashimoto is a great wrestler.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, keep that one in. I was like, lock the doors down. You might have people coming after you.
Yeah.
You should have seen my face when I was reading the text as they were coming in. I was like, oh God, what is he gonna say? And then he was like, I literally had to read it 3 times. I was like, oh, okay. That is an incredible bit. I was like, all right, good shit. Also
Satomura was also really good, and it felt very much of like Satomura of not of old, but like of a decade ago, I guess 5-10 years ago.
Yeah. She feels like she shouldn't be retiring.
Yeah.
Great match. And then the JoshiInformer.substack.com each and every Friday that drops as well. This week should be a decent sized one. A lot of US announcements from the Joshi promotions running. I think TJPW set up their big 4 matches now for the US show. Stardom obviously with the full lineup, and Marvelous with their ungodly 2 a.m. Eastern show. I'm just never gonna let that go. But yeah, thank you for having me, everyone. Thank you for listening to me. I think I was pretty calm this week, which for some is unfortunate. For others, not so much.
I think it was great. I think it was fun.
But I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Patreon.com/countoutpod. That's where you get more content from the network, from me. Hustle Loyalty Retrospect. I talked about it all show. That's my John Cena retrospective series. I plan to have that out on Wednesday. Will I have it out on Wednesday? I don't know. I genuinely have no idea, but I'm doing everything in my power to just like
he's hustling, man.
I'm trying as fast
hustling
as I can
for the loyalty of the fans of the retrospect.
Yes.
Thank you.
I also recorded like a bonus audio of for that series as well. Just a very quick sort of little bonus audio as well. So I have that as well prepared. So you're not gonna miss, will I make the deadline? I don't know, but at the very least, I'm going to supplement with more bonus audio for the show. So as a sort of apology, I guess you could say. But patreon.com/con. Great series. I'm enjoying doing the series. I'm just slow on the upkeep here. And I have to change up how I'm doing things a little bit. Match of the week for me. We talked about the match on the show, but not the entire show. So I'm going to pull from the AEW International Title Eliminator Tournament final match. I thought it was a great match between Ricochet, Orange Cassidy, Mark Davis, and Mike Bailey. Legitimately great match. I went 4 flat on it.
The Yeet Man.
The Yeet Man himself. I thought it was really good. Ricochet was great in it. I think Mark Davis looked really good, which was exactly what we needed to do with Mark Davis, because lately it's just been like, he's a dude, and now we needed to have a great match to be like, oh yeah, he's Mark Davis. I forgot. So great match there, and a good match rewriting the ship a little bit of Mark Davis. I do another show on the network called The Ballot. That's where we talk about the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Famers that are coming onto the ballot for the first time ever. We've had 3 of those episodes out this year already. Los Infernales, I talked about them earlier. Drew McIntyre and Ted Boy Marino. We'll have more in April. And I just have to figure out all the scheduling after Loyalty Retrospect and that. Also on the Patreon coming out soon will be the restart, I guess you could say, of the Best of the Bosch. We talked about it a little bit earlier with Scotty about how I'm going over, reviewing the finals of various Best of Super Juniors throughout the decades. We went through a bunch of those already on the Patreon. So if you sign up this week, you can get a 7-day free trial. Or if you sign up next week, it doesn't matter. But if you sign up for the $5 tier, patreon.com/counterpod, then you'll be able to listen to the back catalog of Best of the Bosch, the new stuff coming out soon, the Hustle Loyalty Retrospect, and the bonus audio that's coming out as well. I did a review of the Queen of the Ring movie. I don't think I talked about that, but I did a review of that movie as well.
You did. You said you hated it. No,
I did hate it.
I think you did say that, but you didn't say why.
Yeah. Well,
because
you gotta
that's
subscribe.
what the video's for.
You gotta
Audio.
subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/kind-of-pod, $5 tier to listen to all of that and more. A lot of great stuff in the back catalog and all that. Ring Post Radio Quarterlies. We're coming up on April, Scotty, so we're going to have to start. I don't think we're going to schedule a Ring Post Radio Quarterly in April, at least not the first half. But
Dude,
we'll
April,
figure that out.
the first half. The second half when WrestleMania happened, you sicko.
No, WrestleMania, yeah, get midway, second half, I guess.
By the way,
mm-hmm. By the way,
we're definitely not doing a show the 20th, which is day 2.
Yes, we're gonna have to do it the 21st for sure.
That's literally Easter.
Uh-huh.
You want to hear a funny joke?
Do you think on WrestleMania it's going to end with the Undertaker rising out of his grave?
Jesus Christ!
Little Easter joke.
Yeah, little Easter joke.
Shout out to my Easter heads out there.
I'm not even gonna make the joke anymore. We're done there. We're stopping there. Goodbye.
Ba-doom, tish.
I just learned.
What's
real
that?
main event this week in TNA.
Okay.
Masha Slavovich versus JC Jane. That's the real.
Get into it.
I am going to get into it. I am a JC Jane believer, buddy.
Yeah, baby. JC Jane's not bad. She's just
I like JC Jane. She just doesn't get to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here. And the show.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Subscribe to the show. Leave a comment. Leave a review. We'd appreciate it.
And I'm with the important graphic.
Yeah.
That by the way, I should be allowed to explain, but I'm never gonna get to.
You never can. So we appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, listening to the Ring Post Radio. Until next week, enjoy your Taco Bell.